All right, so the count keeps growing.
9
Count
a.m.
keeps growing. So it's 9 a.m. sharp. 9 a.m. sharp. I'm going to be putting up the screen. I'm going to give it 2 minutes. Yes, I know coaches. We always
Always
talk
have on
about
time.
starting on time and ending on time. So we're all the way up to 123, 124. The clock keeps ticking, and we need to get going with this. All right, so as the other group comes in, we're going to go ahead and open up the main slide. This is our main slide. And I don't have the full view. I'm hoping that everyone's still able to see this view. And the message is not coming up on my screen, right? Or is it? Okay, awesome. All right. So again, welcome. 901 Survive and Thrive Remote Conference. So excited. We could not sleep. This is an event that's been simmering for a while, and we finally got it going. I think one of the most difficult things as coaches was really coming up with the title. I think it took us several days to come up with what title would reflect what we're doing today. So one of the big things that we're dealing with is this whole crisis right now, and it's very daunting on us, you know, and there's so many people going through struggles. So one of the first things that I want to do as an icebreaker is really, can we think about all the nice things we would want to say for people that are going through this tough time, whether it's an employment, whether it's facing an illness, whether it's facing even things even worse than that. You know, what would you like to say to them? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go to the chat line, and I want you to write down what message, if you had the world right now and you had a message that you wanted to say to them, what would that be? What would that be? And I'm monitoring the chat line right now just to hear that out. So I'm going to take 1 minute just to see you guys, you know, let that information flow. What's coming out, Regina?
So we've got this too will pass. Stay strong. Patience. Hang in there. Be kind and patient. Wow, we're getting a lot of quick ones here. There's stay busy and active. Nothing lasts forever. Meditate. I like that one. We will get through this together. We will come out better and stronger on the other side. Enjoy time with your family. That's a great one. We've got stay safe, stay strong. Everyone, you know, stay together. We've got some, they're still coming in. Let's see. Get that household project done. Great time for household projects.
Oh my goodness.
Pray. Let's pray together. And take advantage of this time, earning your PDUs. Great
PDUs.
reminder. Okay. Work outdoors. I think it's just to be happy on a daily basis. That's good. Stay in the moment. Be kind and patient. Guys, and take time to learn. I'm adding that one there. Take time to learn. Take time to do the things that we normally are so busy and we can't do. All right, those are some good ones. Thank you, guys.
So keep entering them in there, please, so that we can have that and we can share that on our website. Again, making sure that we are recognized for giving back, for caring about the people out there. So to kick off the conference, again, my name is Rick Reguera. I'm not really interested in explaining all the certifications. I love what I do. I'm a coach, and this is, for me, an amazing experience to be able to give back to the community. So excited to help you guys through this journey. But I want to get the baton passed on to Gus. Gus from the PMI, talk to us. They're one of our main sponsors, and they're amazing. Part of that group for a long time. Gus, are you there, sir?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, happy to be here. Happy to see the tremendous turnout, because it just serves as confirmation that we're delivering value add to our members, despite of the times or that we are responding effectively and correctly to the needs of our membership. And that makes us very happy, because we do this for you. I also want to take 2 seconds to thank you guys at Transformation Experts, because your partnership with us has been invaluable and has really been pivotal in helping us drive this webinar program forward in the last couple of weeks and for the weeks to come. So thank you. Happy to be here. Amazed at the turnout, and let's get it kicking.
Awesome.
Great job, Gus.
Thank you, Gus.
All right. Thank you, Gus. And the next person, we've got her right next to me, Transformation Experts. Go ahead, Regina.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I'm personally very excited to be here. I'm an enterprise coach at Transformation Experts. Our values is that we care and we want to help our community. We want to help each and every one of you. We want to help our clients, whatever issues, whatever problems they're facing, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, we're here to help. Right now, it's very pivotal for us to support our community. That's why we're sponsoring this event. It's very important that we're there providing knowledge, providing assistance. So that's part of who we are with Transformation Experts. Now, in order to give back, we are giving 2 certification tickets raffled at the end of this event. So please do not leave until you have the opportunity to participate in this raffle. As you know, we do training, we do consulting, we do transformation. And so to give back, we're giving away 2 free Agile certification courses that will be available between April and May for any of you that want to participate and join.
But they have to stay to the end, right?
Yes, yes. Awesome.
Great.
And then these are some of the upcoming courses that are coming up. We've got weekend training courses in Scrum and SAFe. And if you have any questions on these specifically, let us know. Our admins will be more than happy. But just because you don't win the raffle doesn't mean you don't have a great opportunity. We're also giving a 20% discount. And we've got the codes on this slide. Please write them down. The admins will also be putting the codes on the chat line for the participants. For the SFAA members and the South Florida PMI members, we're giving a 20% discount for all of the courses coming up in April and May. So our admins will be putting the code on the chat line. Don't forget that. We're here to serve you, and we're very happy to be able to provide these services. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. From the South Florida Agile Association, again, we're also very tied into helping the community, and we've been doing that for a regular basis, connecting with the PMI, connecting with Transformation Experts. It's all one happy family. So let's keep doing activities like this. So again, so blessed to be here helping you guys out. So again, thank you for the sponsors. You've got the PMI, you got Transformation Experts, and you got the South Florida Agile Association. Woo! And people behind the scenes, it looks like we're actually doing all the work. No, there are people behind the scenes actually making things happen. These are a lot of those members, and there's more, but these are some that we're okay with sharing their pictures. Okay, so thank you guys for doing what you do.
Thank you.
And now, quickly for some ground rules, again, make sure you put your name. If you're gonna get your PDUs, the PMI is gonna take care of that. If you see anybody with the PMI in front of their name, those are representatives from the PMI. You can ask them questions. Please be cautious. Mute your line. Camera is very nice. I'm seeing so many faces right there. It's so humbling to see you guys and the face expression. So keep that up. We will have the chat lines active all the time. And for administrative, so if you have any questions, you will see an admin and then a specific name. You have questions, go ahead and send it out to them. They'll be able to answer it. Coaches also have coaches or coach and their name. So if you have any coaching questions, they're out there for help you. But then you have your overall community, right? Everyone's there to help each other out. Okay, so keep it up. So Jay is our keynote speaker. So I'm not gonna touch on Jay, but I'm gonna touch on him once I present him. But he is our keynote. These are the sessions that we're running. So we also have the people session, the process session, and the technology session. These are our key speakers. We've got Regina, you got Marcelo, you got Mark, you got Heidi, you got Art, Leon, and Anderson. These guys are pivotal here in actually making coaching an essential, right? Without them leading the way, I don't know how many companies would be able to, get to the high proficiency that they've done. So excellent group of people here that are going to be able to support. We're going to dive a little deeper into them once we finish with our keynote. So excited to have them on board. So we went a quick poll question. Go ahead and throw the poll questions up, please. Just to want to make sure how it looks. So we're going to send you one. Jesus, whenever you're ready. Awesome. So go ahead and answer the poll. This is just one survey to at least get us some information of how do you feel about working remotely? I am so excited about that topic, right? Everyone keeps saying, well, it's crazy and this. And then some people say, no, we're actually achieving more than ever. We're making things happen. So this is a really good starting block. And remember, it's all about feedback. So us as coaches, one of the most important things that we use is we're looking for constant feedback so that we can pivot when we're presenting. So this is the kind of information that's essential for us. So I'm seeing some great things behind, some people are 5s, 3s.
So is 1 bad and 5 great?
Yes, 1 is bad, 5 is great. Yes, 1 is bad, 5 is great. Maybe we should have added that. Thank you very much. But I'm assuming that there's one person, I see that there's one person that put a 1 there. So keep in mind when you're speakers, presenters, there are people that are still struggling very heavily with this environment. And I can see that there's 7% of them are 1s and 2s, okay? And then there's 19 that are on the fence, 19% that are on the fence. Thank you very much. So I like the survey at the bottom. So it does indicate that a lot of people are still interested in process and tools. So people's a little bit behind. So we might have to do some pivoting here on the rooms. Thank you very much for the initial poll. I hope that helps. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll on this side and share the results and then close it up. All right. So moving down. So I want to introduce I would say a coworker of mine, but really somebody who I've admired. He started at World Fuel from my recollection, and he's done great things at World Fuel. But then he went into the challenge of going to a company that was not at the cultural evolution. So he addressed it and went out there as a challenge. So he is now at TracFone. And let me give you a quick story about Jay. I always like to embarrass my speakers. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. But one of my first recollections of Jay was we were at a coffee shop and we were working together. We were talking about the transformation, and I had my team there. He had his team, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. It was that early. And he was so engaged about wanting to understand what does it take to convert, to transform an organization. And I've never seen so strategically, able to absorb this. But then he was able to actually go into the tactical, which was amazing. I've never seen somebody to be able to absorb that quickly. But here we are, and we were doing stickies at a coffee shop.
At a Starbucks.
At a Starbucks. It was amazing. It was like, and we would have never, I know I know everyone plans things, but you never know until you go through that journey. So it's been such an amazing experience to go through that. And he's done a great job there at TracFone. Support from the CEO to several other C-level executives that are really, really championing that. So I'm so excited to introduce Jay Smith as our keynote speaker. Jay, kick it off.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So I was so impressed just to hear the opening, to hear the kind of servant leadership, the community outreach. It's really impressive. The level of optimism with the group. I'm very impressed with that initial chat session you did, Rick. Thank you so much for that introduction. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk with you guys this morning. I can sense the energy in the room, even though we're virtual. I see an engaging group. I see a group that is ready to collaborate. I would just encourage everyone, let's disconnect from the noise and the news and all of the things around us, and let's use this opportunity to really learn and continue to improve. I wanted to give this group a quick soundbite on TracFone. Rick gave a little bit of an intro. We're a business that's $8 billion in revenue, 22 million subscribers. We're the 4th largest carrier in the US with the recent merger of Sprint and T-Mobile. We have 2,000 workforce in Miami, and we have 15,000 total workforce globally. I love, Rick, I love the title of this event, Survive and Thrive. That means a lot to me personally. It means a lot to our company. And so I'll just start off from a surviving standpoint, right? I look at surviving as taking care of our people, number one, right? And I noticed in the poll, people was a little low. Would encourage the group to really think about the well-being of the people. That is the most important thing, and it's the number one priority that I have as we navigate this kind of journey, right? The number 2 priority in surviving is customers and making sure you're empathizing with your customers. Many of our customers are dealing with dire situations, and so that's part of surviving. And then the last one is our company and the health of our company. That's the kind of survive dimension. As I think about thriving is about continuing to evolve, continuing to transform. Rick mentioned about our agile transformation. We're leaning in heavier than before. We're innovating more and more than we ever have, even in these remote situations. And I'll be happy to share with you a little more about that as I go through the quick talk I'm going to have with you. Really, my goal in this few minutes I have with you is I impart a little bit of knowledge, and I hope that you're able to take 1 or 2 things away and use them in your business. I also hope in the Q&A, selfishly, I maybe get 1 or 2 nuggets that I can use as well, because we're never too senior or too old or too young to learn. I really embrace that mentality. I want to take you back on a journey 2 years ago when I started at TracFone. I was hungry, right? I was passionate about changing the company, changing the culture. My first day, I felt like I was transformed in a time machine back 20 years. And so the culture had a lot that we needed to do. And when I think about the things that were in place, I think about really a lack of engagement from the executives down to the frontline employees. I think about very little engaging communications. I think about, a culture that didn't have empowerment, a little bit of command and control, maybe even a lot of command and control, a disinterested social media strategy. Really, our culture at the time was measuring employee feedback annually, right? And really not thinking about well-being. And then customer feedback monthly. And from a working from home standpoint, this is important, the theme of the event here. It wasn't until Q4 of 2019 that we were able to create a work from home pilot. And I'm pleased because I was able to create an environment where the employees felt safe to speak up, to take ownership, and really they drove the strategy for the work from home pilot. We were able to put it in place. We were able to establish a policy through a lot of hard work. I would even say a lot of skepticism because the culture really wasn't there yet. But thank God we had that pilot in place, and thank God the employees were able to rally from the grassroots to create it. And that is what gave us the position to be able to thrive as we went through the rest of the journey. Now, I'll bring you forward to February of this year. I am sitting with my peers. We're talking about what we think is going to happen with the global situation, with the pandemic, with our customers, our business. I'll tell you personally, I felt emotions of nervousness, anxiety, uncertainty. And so we had very specific concerns. I had specific concerns around what we were going to be dealing with. One, I knew we were going to have emotional stress and emotional times with personal situations and professional situations. I thought we were going to have a disengaged workforce as we went remote, right? Less collaboration. Most importantly, I thought we were going to have less productivity. I thought our innovation cycle was going to decline. We had worked so hard prior to going remote, and I did not want that to happen. But I was really concerned about how would we innovate? Innovation is all about collaboration, working together in a highly intense way. I was concerned about that. And then lastly, I was concerned about our ability to take a pilot to full scale working remote. And I knew we weren't going to have a lot of time. So as the CIO, I'm looking at it saying, I've got 200 people in a pilot. I've got to get to 2,000. How am I going to do that? And it was a bit daunting. So those are the concerns that I had as I looked at the February timeframe. This was when it was the start, right? We didn't have our first case in Florida yet, but it was beginning to look pretty onerous. Now fast forward to, let's say last week, right? I'm meeting with my direct reports, and I'm talking to them about how they're feeling. I'm talking to them about the results that we've seen. The results we saw were, yes, there was a stress level of emotion. Yes, there was the concern personally and professionally that each of us had at different levels, but that one we nailed from the original, what I thought to what I saw. Where I got it wrong completely was the collaboration. I would tell you I've seen dramatic increases in collaboration, emotional connections with employees that didn't exist before. I never thought we would see that. Most importantly, the productivity levels have been through the roof. And I would encourage you guys to think about if you've seen similar situations. We actually have another problem where I'm having to encourage folks to establish boundaries so that they don't work so hard that they burn out. That is something I never anticipated. Productivity is through the roof. Innovation, we've innovated at scale larger than we ever have, and I want to give you a specific example here in a little bit. And then the technology deployment and going from 200 to 2,000, it was hard. We did it, and we did it easier than I thought. Now I want to talk a little bit about our journey in terms of how we accomplished the results that we did. And I think this is really the most important part of what I'm going to speak about. I had the chance, I think this will resonate, I had a chance to listen to several customer calls. And if I go back to kind of before and then now, I listen to customer calls. And in this example is a customer care situation. I listen to customer calls every single day. And that's another difference between before and now. This specific customer call was about a gentleman in New York City in the ICU, very close to going on a ventilator, pleading with us as a company to give them a few more days to be able to pay their service. And what I'm most proud of is that we've been able to pivot and give customers what they need in this situation, is particularly when they're in a dire situation like what I just described. And one of the things as a company and as I individually really, really aspire to and relate is Simon Sinek's Infinite Game. If you haven't read that book, please do. That's our perspective. That's my perspective. That's how we run the business. And so we're making decisions for our employees, for our customers that really are not about this quarter, this month, even if it's not to our financial benefit. In some cases, we're investing in our customers and their loyalty. And we've empowered our frontline employees. So back to the story I mentioned of the customer care agent. Our customer care agents are empowered to take care of our customers, even if it means a financial cost to the company. And that's the kind of company I'm proud to be with, and that's the kind of culture that I've helped create at TracFone. I'd also tell you that prioritizing social time, prioritizing virtual town halls, coffee times, those kinds of things, really critical. Not work, no work agenda, right? It's about coming together as a team, making sure we're good, giving us tips and techniques on how to balance this kind of uncertain and difficult situation that we're all in. We put together stand-ups, and they're not the typical stand-ups like you would imagine in the agile space where, what'd you do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? What obstacles do you have? It's not that. It's how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you have any concerns? Can we help you? So the compassion, the caring, the well-being, that really has trumped everything. And for me personally, that's what it's about during this time. And that's what propels companies coming out of this situation to be far stronger, far better. And I think I heard that in one of the chats early on. This nation, this community, the companies, they're all going to be stronger as a result of this situation. I'm convinced of it. I want to talk a little bit on the innovation front. specifically, I want to give you an example of what I mean by innovating at scale beyond what we could do when we were in the office. Okay, so 1 week ago, my head of innovation is on our daily task force call, which by the way has our full executive team on it and a broader cross-functional team. So the level of engagement with our executives now to the broader group has tremendously increased. The innovation lead raises her hand and says, hey, I don't know if this is the right time to talk about this, but I just heard a very big customer problem that I think we can solve. This is 1 week ago. Suggested a hackathon. We immediately said, yes, let's do it. We immediately said, we're going to do it as a full company. Since then, over 1 week, we've had a call to action from the CEO, my boss, to the entire company to say, we're going to do this. We want the full company to participate. We've set aside a full day on Monday, this coming Monday, to innovate and solve this problem and deliver a solution in 30 days. And I would tell you that in the office, that never would have happened. So if I go back to February, never would have happened. Never would have been able to pivot in 1 week and rally the entire company to solve a customer problem. Okay, so I think that's another example of the silver lining and how we're learning. The other thing I would tell you is the virtual town halls and the level of connection. So not only that task force that I mentioned, but every week we are communicating as an executive team. I'm communicating to my team. The CEO is communicating to the entire company. And so the level of interaction and the level of accessibility that we have has been tremendously trumped from where we were before. On the execution of work from home, I want to paint a vision for you. So 200 employees that are working from home in a pilot situation with a pilot policy, and still what I would say skepticism in the organization on whether it even made sense to take it to scale. Okay, that was approved in the fourth quarter of 2019. Now in February, we need to execute, in early March, we need to execute a massive 1,800 plus deployment of laptops and VPNs. So we took our training center of 100 plus people, that the size of the room fits 100 plus people. We established a production line with sanitary, with everything in it, social distancing, and we were able to deploy those laptops and VPNs with the collaboration tools and the proper training in 72 hours. An unbelievable exercise of collaboration that the entire team was able to do, and I was happy to be the leader that was responsible for making that happen. I would tell you that the collaboration tool front didn't take a lot of work. There was the necessity of you needed to use it, and what I saw in terms of lessons learned and sharing of information and, hey, how do we do this? Hey, here's how you do this. It was just magical to be a part of. So I'll leave you with a couple of things, and then I want to show you something. So I'll leave you with, there's really three ways that you can think about approaching the situation we're in. You can be pragmatic, okay? You can be pessimistic, or you can be optimistic. I'm practicing optimism. As you've heard me talk from the things that I've said, there's an end at this that's going to be stronger and better and brighter than we've ever seen. And optimism is the way to be. I want to show you a video that really inspired me, and I think will inspire you about what the future holds. Rick, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thank you, Jay. Let me go ahead and share the video. Hold on. Everybody hear me? I want to make sure.
Volume.
Yes.
Can't wait for a year's time when all of this
Yeah,
is
no,
I think you have to do
Share the sound.
There's a rise in small businesses as all the entrepreneurs had a moment of stillness
Hold on.
and creativity. The virus crisis is changing life as we know it dramatically.
A glitch in the matrix.
I can't wait for a year's time when all of this is a distant memory. And there is a corona baby.
The virus crisis is changing life as we know it dramatically tonight.
I can't wait for a year's time when all of this is a distant memory. And there is a corona baby boom because all the lovers were loving. And there is a rise in small businesses because all the entrepreneurs had a moment of stillness and creativity. And all the children remember nothing but a time when all the mums and dads were at home drawing and playing ball games, and we remember it as the time we all got to stop and be present. We will remember the time our health was our first priority and people learned new ways to use fresh produce to feed their families. We remember the laughter and fun on TikTok, FaceTiming with our friends and family each day, date nights in the house, and home PE workouts with Joe Wicks. A time our real heroes in the NHS urged us to stay at home for the greater good, and our country showing their support by turning Wembley and the Angel of the North blue. And we were all forced to think outside the box and dream up new things and reinvent old ways, and for once, even amongst the chaos, there was community. There was a global rise in togetherness, and as the streets were quiet, our homes were bustling with love and laughter. That time is coming soon, just like any other crisis before it. This will all be a distant memory, a thing we soon listen to our children discuss in classrooms, or once was, that we share with our grandchildren. So to you, I know it's unsettling, but focus on the silver lining. We're all in this together, and there is so much beauty to see.
So Rick, I'd like to just close by thanking, if everybody can still hear me, by thanking the group, thanking the PMI group, thanking you and the Transformation Experts team. I've enjoyed the interaction, and I look forward to hearing how the event turns out. I wish you guys the best of luck and the greatest of collaboration. Cheers.
Woo!
Thank you.
Great job. Great
Thank
job.
you.
So any quick questions that are on the chat? And I know we don't have much time because we're jumping to several other sessions, but do you have any conversation there that we would like to?
Ask Jay. Any questions for Jay on the chat?
No questions so far, but we do have a lot of thank you, Jay. That was great, awesome speech. Feel very inspired. It was very helpful. Great stuff, and lots of thanks.
Hey Jay, quick question for you. When we get by this, have you given any thought to maybe the transition back?
Yes. So great question. Very relevant and timely question. The answer is yes, although I would say the thinking is still evolving, and I'll share with you some of our considerations so far. Some of the things I brought to the table. Really, there will be never the kind of the old way, right? There'll be a phased approach to how we start to collaborate more personally. We see from returning to office, I think there'll be a phased in terms of, in order to keep the distance, there'll be some people that come one time, some people that come at another time. I also see temperature checking and maybe even testing before folks come back to work. I see working from home being accepted at a far greater level because we've proven the productivity of it. The team members are going to be excited about that. I think that overall, we're going to see the new normal be a far greater level of hybrid, working further apart, but having greater levels of collaboration.
Thank you, sir.
One more question. Again, we're trying to move it on. And what we're going to do, just so that everyone's clear with this, is any questions that you have for Jay, we're going to go ahead and capture it. And we're going to follow up with Jay and get some answers to that. So he's not going to sneak away. We'll have a good grasp on him. Any other question that we want to address?
Where do you plan to? Oh, there's a great one here. Jay, where do you plan to be in 3 years?
Okay. So I have aspirations, two kind of parallel tracks. And I have no problem sharing them with. I've shared them with my boss. So one is a CEO track, I think I add value from a leadership standpoint far greater than just IT, and I would be humbled and proud to lead a company overall. So that's one track, and particularly within the America Mobile family, which is TracFone's a key part. I got to learn Spanish though, so I might need some help, Rick. So that's got a one track. The other track would be, CIO for a Fortune 100. Got some interest out there, but I'm not done at TracFone yet. So don't anybody get any early conclusions. We've got to finish the journey at TracFone first, but those would be the two things that I see in my horizon.
Awesome. Again, thank you very much, Jay, for having you. Excellent job.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick, for having me. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the event. Cheers, guys.